Welcome to another awesome live video here at Mary's Heirloom Seeds. I'm Mary from Mary's Heirloom Seeds, and I try to go live here every Thursday and share some awesome gardening information with you. We also have some videos that aren't live, but welcome to our Thursday Night Live. So before I get started, we have a lot of great information available on our website, and we have so many questions that I get in an email. So last week we discussed one of the hot topics that I posted on our social media page, and that was how do you choose what types of seeds to purchase from Mary's Heirloom Seeds? And we had some awesome answers. So for those of you just joining me, if this is your first time, welcome. If this isn't your first time, welcome anyway. Go ahead and let me know you are here. Let me know you are watching. Oops, sorry, just checking in, making sure that I've got everything situated. Tonight is a little something different. So I have a new series starting today. We have a food storage prepper garden series. Now we're going live today because it is just the intro. So we're gonna kind of talk about seed storage and long-term food storage, short-term food storage, but particularly we're going to discuss the seeds and storing those seeds. And then in the next couple weeks, I'll have some videos posted about specific varieties. So it's super crazy for some of you. It's harvest time for some of you. It's summertime, super hot in some places, and it's starting to cool down in other places. We've got all sorts of craziness going on with flooding in different places and storms in other places. So having prepared food storage, being prepared and having some seed storage is always a great option. So we just reached 6,500 subscribers on our YouTube channel. Yay, hooray. So we've got a giveaway coming on Saturday. So I will either post a video on Saturday and go live, or I will post it to our website. Most likely post it to our website and you'll receive an email. So if you haven't signed up to receive our emails, go ahead and do that. You're gonna get a lot of great information. You can ignore any of the emails that you don't like if it's a topic you're not interested in. But when we do have announcements to share, like our upcoming video giveaway on Saturday, you're definitely gonna want to check that out and get an email for it. So today we're talking about food storage, prepping in the garden, and this is our introduction. So we're going to talk about seeds. If you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do so when you get a chance. You don't have to, but we appreciate it. And hit that thumbs up, hit that like button here for our video. Now we have a lot of videos upcoming. I already mentioned that, and I've already filmed some of them, and I'm already getting ready to share with you. We are growing a lot in our garden, so that's been really helpful, and that's why I will have them posted every week. Hopefully on a Sunday, I'm going to share one of these prepping videos specific for food storage from your garden. Now, this whole topic came up. We discuss it often. As homesteaders, a lot of us are preppers. Or what some people consider a prepper is different than others. Hey Robert, thanks for joining us. Welcome. So depending on what your version is of prepping or food storage, this may work for you, this may not work for you. But today I want to talk about specifically seeds. Now, I've been meaning to share something with this for a little while, but what mainly prompted me is I received an email from a customer a couple weeks ago, and then we had a video from Elbin Mills Farm. If you haven't checked out Elbin Mills Farm on YouTube, I highly recommend you check out their videos. They recently did a video promoting Mary's Heirloom Seeds as well as part of it with a discount code. But she was discussing stocking up on seeds and why she's suggesting you stock up on seeds before the spring rush. So for one thing, she mentioned you're walking around your garden, you're seeing what did really well for you this summer, you're seeing what may not have done very well for you this summer, and you can now that it's fresh in your mind, you can start making your list of the seeds that you want to grow for next year. So If you haven't checked out Elvin Mills Farm video, definitely check that out. And by the way, during the video, if you have any questions, you can always, hey, Fishes and Lows, welcome. You just got your notification. So throughout the video, if you've got questions, you're welcome to ask. You can also send an email to mary@marysheirloomseeds.com, and I will try to answer that as soon as possible. I got some pretty cool seeds here with me today we're going to talk about a little bit. So first, let's get to my customer email. So everybody's going to have their own specific budget, and it depends on if you are purchasing seeds for right now, or if you're purchasing seeds to store for future use, or if you're purchasing seeds for long-term storage. Hey Christian, thanks for joining us. So my customer says, I'm looking to gather some last-minute supplies for emergency prep. Can you put together whatever you think would be ideal to have on hand, whether it's mixed, short-term, and long-term? And this customer had seen our Homestead seed combo pack, and they really liked that, but they had quite a larger budget. Oh, Fishes and Loaves, thank you so much. So, okay, so let me give you a little background on the necklace, and then I'll go back. There's a company called the Glass Cherry, and they are going to be donating an item for our giveaways in the upcoming weeks. So if you haven't checked out the Glass Cherry, it's a newer company. And so anyway, that's where this came from, is the Glass Cherry. So this customer in particular had a fairly large budget for their seed storage or for their emergency prep for seeds. So our Homestead pack is about I think it's $214 or something like that, but it's on sale for $207. We also have a seed combo pack discount code, so you're going to save 10%. If you go to marysheirloomseeds.com, the first picture on our website is pink Swiss chard, and it says seed combo 21 is the discount code to save 10% on all of our seed combo packs. So I'm hoping that stays for the rest of 2021. If you're interested in purchasing seeds, if you use that for the seed combo packs, you'll save 10%. That seed combo 21 discount code will be done at the end of the year. Rocky the flannel shirt style. Man, Christian, I love flannels. They're so comfortable. I'm not outside today because it's 100 degrees and we had some electrical work done out there, and I really thought inside would be so much nicer. Plus, it's been a crazy day. It's been a totally crazy week, actually. So here's what my suggestion was for this customer. So we have a homesteading seed collection. It's massive, but my answer is specific that you can use that for both long-term and short-term. But the great thing about our Homestead Seed Combo Pack is you're going to have what you might consider instant gratification seeds. So you're going to have lettuce, you're going to have herbs, you're going to have radish that are 30, 45, 50-day maturity. So those are what I would consider a short-term prep. Then you have long-term prep, and those are your asparagus and your artichokes. So I'll give you an example. Asparagus needs about 365 days, a full year, to give you a good harvest. Christian says you roast radishes to eat? Absolutely. And then asparagus, for example, now I mentioned this last week, asparagus isn't ready to start a full harvest until 3 years. So it's gonna take some time if you're growing that as one of your preps. That's what I would consider a long-term investment for food preps, because those are both perennials. An annual is something that you're gonna plant it now, you're gonna harvest it now, and it's done. So most tomatoes are an annual. A lot of the flowers and a lot of the herbs we sell are annuals. But perennials would be something like artichoke. I would love asparagus, but not sure about zone 10B and asparagus. That is a very difficult one for zone 10B. So, but the beauty of living in 10B is you can pretty much grow year round, and you can grow a lot of the tropical things like mangoes and avocados that you can't necessarily grow in other places. So With asparagus, it does not do that well in super hot climates, but it can grow for 30 years in the same place in areas that are a little more on the mild side, but even it will withstand a lot of cold weather as well. So something to consider if you're looking at growing a food storage garden. Asparagus can be pickled for long-term, no, I wouldn't say long-term, for short-term food storage, because a lot of the canned items, I'm not going to go into detail about specific canning methods right now. There are a lot of great resources for people that know a lot more about canning than I do, so we're going to stick to kind of the seed area of it. But asparagus is something that can be canned for future use. But we're going to talk about the seed portion of that. That's going to take 3 years of preparation before you can start really getting a good harvest for asparagus. So that's why that homesteading, the Homestead Seed Combo Pack, it's a collection. It's massive. And you can use those for short-term, super fast, ready to harvest, and you can use those for long-term, meaning the asparagus is going to last you like 30 years depending on your area. The artichoke can grow, again, it's also a perennial, and that can grow 5 years or more. Swiss chard is another one. If you live in a more moderate climate, so we were in California and I had several that lasted for 2 years. I've had customers respond that they've had them growing for 2 years or even more. So that can be something that you can plant once and continue to harvest throughout the year, or multiple years in some cases. So those are some things to consider. Now, I made a list of specific seed combo packs for this customer in particular, and they were great options for beginner gardeners as well as seasoned gardeners, but specifically beginner gardeners, and that would be the Garden Starter Pack. That is my number one super easy beginner. If you said, Mary, I've never grown anything from seed before, what do I get? What do I buy, and how do I do it? So the Garden Starter Pack was something I created specifically for that purchase, for that purpose, excuse me. Hang on, I just missed your comment here. Yes, keep certain annuals in separate areas and elevated beds to get easier since they are not lasting as long as trees and shrubs. Exactly. So the Garden Starter Pack, that is easy to grow and it's a great value because you've got a lot of seed packs in there that are like 100 or 200 seeds. So you're gonna get a lot of produce for not spending a lot of money. The Mary's Salad Greens Combo Pack. Now that is a faster maturing seed combo pack, and they're also very easy to grow. It's also my favorite greens. You've got Osaka purple mustard, you've got lacinato kale. For those of you that don't know, lacinato kale is also called dino kale. It grows massive, it's super easy to grow. You can start harvesting in as few as 40 days. It has cilantro in there, it has Cimarron red lettuce in there. There's one other one, Swiss chard, pink Swiss chard. So the Mary's Salad Greens mix, that's a really good one. It's a great value. It's not really expensive, so that's really one that if you're looking for something that, hey, I only have a little bit of space and that's what I want to do, go for it. Next would be the Rainbow Garden Pack. So that one's just a really fun novelty one. All of the seeds are open pollinated, all the seeds are heirloom, but there's a lot of colorful stuff in there. So you've got purple beans, you've got yellow beans, you've got Chioggia beets, which are like the red and white inside. It looks like a peppermint candy. So that's a really fun one to grow. If you've got kids, that's another question I get is I've got kids and they want to grow, but how do I get them to eat it? And getting them more involved in the growing process and then having fun, and some people would call it fancy varieties, gives them more of an opportunity to try different things that maybe they wouldn't get in the grocery store, and maybe they're super colorful and they would want to try something like that. Christian says, seen artichokes grow in the wild. What would be cool? That would be cool to have. You cook kale down or eat it raw. I prefer it cooked. Some people eat it raw. When I do eat it raw, it's usually the smaller leaves. I don't usually use a large kale leaf, but the super small ones, If you go to the grocery store, people pay big money for baby greens, and you can grow it in your own garden. The gourmet greens mix is a great one. You can harvest the outer leaves when they're really small and make yourself a nice little baby green salad, and you could just keep harvesting it in your own garden without having to go to the store and buy it. So another one is, last but certainly not least, is our herbal tea combo pack. So for those of you that are interested in prepping and having a prepper garden, or maybe just a small herb garden, these are medicinal herbs that are not only pollinators, some of them, but they're also beneficial for a great tea garden, you could call it. You've got lavender, you've got peppermint, you've got chamomile, you've got valerian. So those are some ones that you can make your own little herbal tea garden right there. Lavender is another one that's a perennial. It takes quite a while and a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of effort, but a little bit more effort to grow lavender than it does, say, basil. Because lavender, I will get to that in a little bit, but lavender requires cold stratification before you plant. So know what is necessary to grow these seeds. So outside of the combo packs, there's a few other options. So again, we're talking about food storage prepping in the garden, and this is our intro video. I've got a couple videos coming up in the next few weeks. I'm gonna try and post a video every Sunday for our prepper garden series, specifically for food storage options. And then hopefully this Saturday, I will have a email going out with a giveaway because yay, we reached 6,500 subscribers here on our YouTube channel. So outside of the seed combo packs, there are a couple of what I call double duty crops. Fishes and Loaves says that's one reason why lavender does not do well here. Yes, lavender is very difficult to grow in Florida. I've grown it myself there and it was not easy. Sometimes it needs a lot drier of weather. If you water it too much, it will just wilt out and die. But when I've totally ignored it, it just surprised me and kind of went, wow, here we go. So sometimes needing to know or knowing what will grow in your garden the best is if you're looking at prepping specifically. So that brings me to another one. I'll get to it in a second. Outside the combo packs, the double duty crops, they're a little more on the versatile side. So that would be, for example, rosemary needed more like the Mediterranean climate. I had a friend in South Florida that grew a rosemary tree. It was over 5 feet tall, and that was, I want to say 7 years ago since we were in Florida. So she had amazing, beautiful rosemary. So you can grow rosemary in South Florida. I know it was, I don't even know how old it was, but we went over and I looked at this tree and I'm like, what is that? Because it smells like rosemary. And she's like, yep, it's rosemary. And they had lived in that house for a long time. So I imagine that she planted it there. But it's a perennial. As long as, let's see, in micro shaded climate, yeah, I honestly don't know. Maybe she had an area there. She was pretty good with growing things. She kept a lot of orchids. I can kill orchids easily, but growing tomatoes and whatnot, I can do that. All right, so here comes the most important part. Are you listening? Super, super important. Probably the most important part. Interesting video, Marianne. I'm really interested, Mary. I'm really interested in perennial veggies. I will have more information on that one coming up very soon. Right now, we're just talking about an intro to prepping, and that is seed specific. So here it comes, the most important part. I wrote an article about 15 seeds to stockpile, and that was back in 2017. But here's the most important part. Having a stockpile of seeds, but not knowing how to grow it is not ideal, okay? Super, super important. If you're going to save seeds or if you're going to purchase seeds and store them for future use, having a stockpile of seeds is not going to help you if you don't know how to grow it. Very, very important. So it's not just how to grow it, but it's also the seeds, the plant, and the storage. So it's important to know the information about these seeds, specifically about the seeds, specifically about the plant, and then also the storage. So here's an example. I've been pretty, I wouldn't say outspoken about it, but I have mentioned on several occasions, I don't like those survival seed packs. They come usually in a Mylar bag, and the claim is that they can be stored indefinitely. A lot of people are confused indefinitely with forever, because seeds absolutely have a, rosemary seeds need fast draining soil. Yeah. So specifically, if you buy these seeds, you don't know, one, how old they are, and two, what is required of them. So if you buy the survival seed packs and you put it in a closet for 10 years and then you break it out when you really want to grow a garden, you don't necessarily know if those seeds are going to germinate, because seeds, like I said, absolutely have a shelf life. Second, if you are growing in good times, you might struggle to grow in tough times, because if you don't have the experience, you're not going to be, most likely, I can't say for certain, yes, the survival seed packs are not germinating. I have heard stories about that where they have minor germination and not much. So buying 1,000 seeds or buying 1,000,000 seeds and then putting them in the closet for 10 years isn't going to help you if you don't know how to grow it. And then also, you don't know what the quality of those is. Forever is a long time. So indefinitely doesn't mean forever. Indefinitely is kind of like a long time, but we don't really know. So let me give you an example. Some seeds, like parsnips, have a very short shelf life. If you don't plant them the first year, you may not get much to germinate the second year. They have about a 50% germination rate in my experience after the second year. So here are small parsnips. I got one here actually. So if you are interested in growing parsnips, buy the seeds fresh. If you aren't sure how to plant them, they're very similar to a carrot. So they are giant seeds though compared to a carrot, but they grow very similar to a carrot. So if you want to grow parsnips, learn how to grow them, plant the seeds, don't save the seeds, unless you are saving the seeds from future use. Christian says, saw some scientists in Israel grown ancient seeds, totally possible. So Christian, something to consider with that is not everybody has a tomb to store their seeds. Not everybody has a climate controlled seed storage area to store those seeds. They have found certain crops in those areas where they've been sealed in a tomb. So there's a completely different area or completely different climate for that. So unless you've got a tomb, you may not have that type of storage. And then also you've got professionals that seed germination is their life. And so of course they're specialists and they may have a better overall germination rate from those ancient seeds compared to those of us that are maybe just getting started or let's see, sorry, I'm bouncing around to everybody. That sounds gross. Sorry, what's gross? Forever is a long time. Anyway, sorry. All right, so important part, we discussed that. Storage life, we discussed that. Now, storage is super important, and that was what I was getting to with the tune. Moisture, light, and temperature can degrade seed quality. So if you are purchasing seeds to store for long-term storage, Mary probably has magical powers to grow anything. Well, I was told from someone who claimed to be a professional grower that it wasn't possible to grow a garden in East Texas in the summertime. And if you have, parsnips wine you mentioned, that was what you were saying was gross. There's a lot of things people make wine out of, so whatever. I mean, everybody's got their own taste. So back to the garden. I had someone who claimed to be a professional grower, and he was just finger wagging at me in an email that there was no way that I was going to grow a garden in East Texas in the summertime. If you follow me on social media and if you watch my upcoming videos I've been filming over the last few days, we definitely have a garden. We started harvesting squash as early as 42 days. If you watch some of my older videos, you'll see a video titled 42 days. And I was harvesting some of our crops grown from seed in East Texas in the summertime. So it's definitely possible. I'm kind of one of those people that if you tell me you can't, I'm gonna do it anyway, just because I want to know how it's going to grow in my area, and I also want to be able to kind of experiment with some things and be able to help our customers. That is probably the most important part of growing, is experiencing what grows well in your area. Hey, Deborah, thanks for joining us. Dr. Herbalist. Okay, so for those of you who haven't joined me in past videos, I've grown in South Florida. We lived there for 8 years where it's super hot. I've grown in Southern California where I grew up. That was definitely a piece of cake. And now we've been in East Texas for about 2 months. We already have a garden up. I had a garden up in about less than 10 days. We already are harvesting from that garden. I've got a ton of squash. I've got a ton of amaranth. We are about to plant our cool weather crops coming up soon, even though it's going to be in the 100 plus in the next few days. But all of this is an experiment. I don't really consider like being, an expert grower, because every year is different and every situation is different. So I may plant tomatoes one year and they're amazing, and then next year one of the varieties isn't as good as the other varieties. Same with beans, same with peppers. You never have exactly the same temperatures, exactly the same weather every year. So every year is a brand new year, and you've got an opportunity to learn more and grow more. So I like to experiment a lot of different varieties. What kind of tomatoes are you harvesting? I'm curious. So I'm not harvesting yet because I've only had the garden up for less than 4 weeks. I'm sorry, less than 8 weeks. But I have black cherry tomatoes, I've got Roma tomatoes, I've got hillbilly flame tomatoes, Cherokee purple tomatoes. So there's a couple different varieties out there. Everglades tomatoes, Matt's wild cherry tomatoes. So there's a couple different styles of tomatoes that we've got growing. And there's still plenty of time in my area to be able to harvest tomatoes in the future. So more on that later. We talked about the storage. If you're brand new to gardening, you might consider starting with some newer stuff or some easier stuff. So I mentioned the garden starter pack is one of those that's pretty easy to grow. Choosing varieties that do well for you is a good option. So Elvin Mills Farm mentioned the Royalty Purple potted beans. She said that they were easy to grow and they were super easy to harvest because they stood out on the plant compared to green beans. So Royalty Purple potted bean is a snap bean, like a green bean, but it's purple and beautiful. So that's one that you can harvest a lot easier, but when you cook it, it turns green. She says, I hate green beans because they're difficult to harvest, but the purple potted peas were her favorite because they were super easy to harvest. So for her, that made sense. So her suggestion in purchasing seeds early was, here you are, it's summertime or it's almost fall, and you're walking around your garden and you're seeing all of the different varieties that did well for you. And she's like, okay, well, rather than waiting till January when everybody else is trying to put in their spring seed orders, Mary, you are proof of growing where you are planted. Thank you, Wendy. Every year we learn something new in the garden, and every year I'm still just in awe of how awesome it is. You take this little teeny seed and you plant it and you grow these amazing food, and every year it still amazes me. So on my table here, we've got a lot of different varieties. I'm not really going to get into specifics today because I'm going to share with you in specific videos. But I did want to share a couple favorites specifically for storing seeds. We have Scarlet Runner Bean. This is such a gorgeous bean. It's gigantic. It's one of my favorites. It is not only beneficial for pollinators, but it's a really easy grower. You can grow it for the beans, or the actual bean seed to eat, and you can actually grow it for the pod bean itself. Then you have strawberry popcorn. This is just a super fun one, but it's super easy to grow. If you're looking for popcorn, we've got glass gem corn, which I typically have on my table every single week I go live because I love it. And then you've got Mandan Bride corn, another gorgeous variety. So if you're gonna grow corn, I will say this, back onto the important part of growing is understanding your seeds. If you're gonna grow corn, you need to know what types of corn are out there. You don't necessarily want to plant a flower corn and expect it to be a sweet corn, because it's not. Glass gem corn, for example, I had someone just insisting that it was a sweet corn, but it's not. Glass gem corn is a popcorn that you can actually use to grind and make flour. But I have a video where I took a bite out of the glass gem corn just to see what it would taste like. It didn't taste very good. It was super grainy. And the reason popcorn isn't like a sweet corn is because it has a lot less moisture than a sweet corn. In order to pop, it needs less moisture. There's like a little moisture pocket, and when you pop it, it pops, and that's why it's popcorn. So understand what you are growing. Another one that I harvested already from our garden is the Purple Hull Pink Eye Cowpea. So we have been harvesting seeds already from our garden, and it's only been 8 weeks that we've had that garden in, or actually maybe even less. I think I want to say it's been 10 weeks since we've been here and 8 weeks in the garden. I don't have my calendar with me, so, Deborah Howell says, love Purple Hulls. I missed it. Is one of those corns for grinding? Yes. So this is Mandan Bride corn. It is a very sought after heirloom corn that is excellent for grinding. So if you are looking to make your own cornmeal or corn flour, Mandan Bride corn is a good one. We only carry heirloom seeds. These are open pollinated, so if you grow them from these seeds and you aren't growing any other corn in the near area, you can save these seeds and continue to plant them year after year, or you can just grind them and buy new corn every year. Either way is fine. So Mandan Bride corn is one. But if you're not sure about corn, you can go to Mary's Heirloom Seeds on our website, or in the description section of this video, I will share it. And I've got an article about understanding the different types of corn. So that's there. There's also a YouTube video on our channel. So if you scroll through some of those videos, there is a video on heirloom corn, and the preview for the video is my hands holding different types of corn. So there's a lot of different corn varieties, and understanding those is important. There's also an article on our website about understanding heirloom onions. So back on the topic of understanding the seeds, you have short day onions, you have intermediate day onions, you have long day onions, and you've got bunching onions. So in the South, you want a short day onion. And then in the center, you want to do an intermediate, and in the top, you want a long day onion. And in that article, I explain why. You can pretty much grow bunching onions in all three regions. It doesn't matter because it's about a 60-day time period. So you don't have to worry about the long day versus short day. So something to consider. Glass gem corn. Yes, that is another one. That is my all-time favorite. Glass gem corn. It is beautiful. Maybe that's why I like it. If you're not sure about it too, we have 3 videos on actually 4 videos on glass gem corn. One is tips on growing and harvesting. One is seed saving for your glass gem corn, and the other is popping. And if you watch the one about popping, we have my adorable niece and nephew joining me to help me pop the corn, and they loved popping corn. They really did. So that's a really good one. So I think that's it. Today is food storage, prepping in the garden, our intro video. I will try to get every Sunday, I'm going to have a new prepping video out. It is gorgeous glass gem corn. Native Americans use it for trade and for jewelry. Yep, it is a very old one. The Mandan bride corn is also another very old one. And Christian asked about or you mentioned something about the purple hull pink eye cowpeas. Yes, it's like a black-eyed pea, and you would eat it and store it just like you would a black-eyed pea. So today is the intro to our prepping series. I will have more, like I said, every Sunday. If you haven't already, I highly recommend signing up for our email list. I will have a giveaway going live this Saturday. And that is specifically because we reached 6,500 subscribers on our YouTube channel. And I got another giveaway coming soon as well. So I will have that information. Our giveaway this weekend, we will have seeds, and we will have from the Glass Cherry. You can check out their website, theglascherry.com, and they've got some cool, fun little trinkets there. I am going to sign off and go make some dinner. Speaking of prepping, I get hungry when I talk about prepping. If you've got any questions, you can always send an email to mary@marysheirloomseeds.com. And if you're looking for awesome seeds, check out our website, which is marysheirloomseeds.com. I'm Mary, signing off, and happy planting.